Hello everybody, welcome to another Valheim video. Today I'm going to teach you how to counter the single most common form of griefing and trolling on any Valheim server. If you've spent any time at all playing multiplayer in Valheim, you've probably noticed how it's quite easy to change a sign. And maybe you saw someone else engage in nefarious activity. As someone who's had public servers, this is by far the most common form of griefing. You'll make a sign and it'll be something useful and friendly for newcomers on the server. Go off and do my development stuff, la-di-da-di-da. And then, you come back and lo and behold, somebody has interrupted your message a little bit, and I've used some replacing of the words that they normally use. People really like to throw off insults, and there's certain words that they really like to use. These are the most common griefing words. But really, it's not something I think is worth punishing. However, it is a behavior that we shouldn't reward, and the only reason this happens is because players can just walk up to a sign and change it without making it clear that they changed the sign. So my solution is to just make it so every time a player changes a sign, the chat says what they did. So if we look in the chat, here we see Overeager Jarl wrote, the goblins did 9 and 11 on a sign in the meadows. Overeager Jarl wrote, "You're a fat verger," on a sign in the meadows. These are the kinds of things you're gonna find these griefing messages. They're gonna just show up out of the blue. And the easiest way to deal with it is to just make it all public, because then people literally don't even want to do it in the first place if they know they'll get caught. In order to automate this process, all you need to do is have Expand World Prefabs on the server. As with most of my work on YouTube, this whole process is vanilla friendly and compatible with people you invite on vanilla clients. And here's the script. It's actually very simple, so I'm going to show you how to write this script yourself. So we're going to start with prefab and then sign. This tells EWP which prefab we want to use as the trigger for our action, okay? And in this case, our action is the message that shows up in the chat. We want that to happen when something else happens. So we use prefab sign with type change, the coolest type that has enabled everything. And then we're going to change this to text. And basically what's going on is the sign has a field, a string data type called text. So now it's like, okay, when there is a change in the sign's text, then we're going to this, right? And what are we going to do? We're going to go Command S. This is making the server shout. And we're going to use this pname thing, which will put in the closest player's name. And whenever this happens, there's always going to be a player there triggering it because of this part here that we're about to put in, okay? So pname wrote. And now we just need to put in the string that they wrote on a sign in the, and then we just throw in this biome tag here, just because then it's fun. It'll say in the meadow, in the black forest, in the ocean, in the swamp. You don't need to do anything else. And now we just need to make sure that this only happens when there is actually a player nearby. And this is just a little bit safer because you might have something else on your server, some mod that makes like a sign when a player's not there, and then it'll get all spammy. The only part you actually need is this part here. That's it. So we did our prefab sign, our type change text, our command, and then made sure that it only happens when the player's nearby. Once you do that, and you have it on your server or your single player environment, then you can change a sign, silly sign name, and then you look in chat and it says the player's name wrote silly sign name on a sign in the meadows. If you really wanted to, you could also make these messages show the exact coordinate that it happens. I find that to be too spammy. I don't like it when a lot of numbers are showing up in the chat. I find that it alienates players. The chat should be something full of words that paints a story and messages from other people that people enjoy reading. That's the whole point of it. And that's all you needed to know. I'll throw you a little bit of a bonus now for getting into the end of the video though, because as you saw, I actually removed parts of the scripts when I just showed you the simple part. And actually, there's a cool feature on Path of Magic that you might enjoy as well. you can make the default sign text roll through a database of different entries. So here we can see that every time we make a sign, we get a little tip about Path of Magic. You can sell metal to a conveyor foreman. Like you see, it just automatically populates it with text, right? So that's what this thing is handling here. Every time a sign is created, it's going to enter our database of default text. However, I'm not going to go too much more into that because that's out of the scope of the video. I just wanted to show you that these kind of things are completely possible to do, and you actually have a lot more control over your Valheim experience than you realize. If you want to support my work, then consider renting your own dedicated Valheim server. You can do a whole bunch of things on a Valheim server, and sometimes it really helps get that communal aspect going when there's another place that people can play and it's not dependent on you being online and hosting your local world. Alternatively, you could just like this video or any other video about Valheim. You could also comment below. In particular, if there's something you want to learn or you want to know if it's possible using this kind of method, then just ask, I'll let you know. I have a pretty good sense now of what's possible and not possible with EWP, so I can help point you in the right direction for any kind of project that you're interested in working on. So, thanks for watching, comment below if you have any ideas, and until next time, bye-bye.